Hello, hypercar fans. So back on January 26, 2021, I did a review of the entire case of these Granny and Partners hypercar collection, and within that collection was this thing. It's the Pagani Huayra BC, and the quality control from Granny is pretty bad. This one is actually missing the seats entirely. There are no seats inside of that thing. Other than that, the outside of the model is not bad for the retail price, which I think wasn't very high because these were sold at 7-Elevens, I guess, in Taiwan. So I can't imagine them being too expensive being sold at a convenience store. So anyways, it's just sat in my collection for quite a while. But pleasantly, this brand, which I do like a lot, LCD, they have their version out now. So let's take a look at this guy today. Alright, so just search online. You can find this model out there. This thing seems to have been opened by the seller, and then they added this additional wrap here. I believe this is probably officially licensed. At least some other ones I get were. See, yeah, it actually is. If that matters to you, here's what it is, the orange color. Okay, so it's got a little card backing here, and then I gotta get rid of all this extra stuff. So, I guess that's good to protect this clear plastic from scratching, because cardboard boxes can scratch these plastic surfaces pretty easily. This must be original from the factory, this little piece. Or maybe not. I mean, this doesn't look very professional, right? So maybe that was done by the seller here. I'm trying to get to the screw here because I'm going to take it off the stand. I don't see anything super delicate other than the mirrors, but there's no tow hooks or anything like that, or antenna that might break off. Although I truthfully might actually put it back on the stand later. I find that now I have a couple empty boxes just full of these crystal cases, but if I actually left the model in the crystal case, I wouldn't have that issue of storage. But anywho, let's take a look at this base here. It's got a metal plate here with it's photo etched. It's pretty nice actually. Yeah, there you go. It's not limited edition or anything like that, but that doesn't really affect my purchase decisions either. I just buy cool models. I don't care if there's 6 million of them out there in the world. I'm not buying these for investment purposes. I'm just buying them because I want to have a nice model. Okay, so what does compare to these photos? Alright. So that you might wonder what that 20 means. The 20 is the celebration of Pagani being an automobile company for 20 years. And then coincidentally, only 20 of these BCs were made. And they were sold for a little over $2.5 million. But I'm sure many of them sold for more than that with options. Pagani, their history, the guy used to make carbon parts for a Lamborghini and then started his own company. So he's at the cutting edge of carbon fiber composites. And Paganis have titanium carbon fiber weaves now. So supposedly it's supposed to be lighter and stronger than regular full carbon weaves. And this one is more of a track-oriented car versus the regular Huayra. So it drops almost 300 pounds out of the weight. So a lot of weight savings is going on, a little bit more Spartan of an interior, a lot more carbon parts and stuff like that. It's still, the whole body in monocoque is carbon tie, but then it does have steel subframes to hold all the suspension bits. It weighs 1,250 kilos, and the AMG V12 twin turbocharged engine, which is around 6 liters, makes around 704 horsepower, as well as around 740 horsepower and 740 foot-pounds of torque. So they're roughly the same amount. So that's what makes this a hypercar. This thing can go 230 miles per hour. 0 to 60 is around 2.3 seconds, which is insane. And then this thing can pull 2 Gs around a corner, which is quite insane as well. I learned online that even the bolts used to keep this thing together has the Pagani logo machined into the bolt heads. So that's pretty impressive. That's partially why this thing is $2.5 million. They're making their own bolts. They're not even buying bolts from anyone else. They're making their own. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, well anywho, that's all the stats I found out about this car. So let's get into the model here and see how good it is. I already know it's better than the Granny and Partners, but it's a different price range, so it should be better. Starting at these wheels, they're pretty nice. I mean, you can see some sort of depressions for the lug nuts. But I don't know if I don't see brakes, or it's so dark in there. Oh no, look at that, there are brakes. It's a hard angle to get, but I can see that red caliper, right? Let's try the rear wheel, it might be better. I can't see the caliper. Oh, there it is. It's pretty far back in there, but the caliper's on the leading edge of the wheel. So actually the front caliper being a bigger one, it is easier to see. Hopefully you guys can see that, right? So that's nice. It's a little dark in there, but the LCD did the details that are necessary. Alright, so what's this side badge here? It's like this chrome reflective sticker or something. Oh, this pick has gone bad, sorry. Luckily I have another one. Okay, so that's nice. You can see like a carbon fiber texture here. This kind of looks like a decal. I'm guessing this is a decal. And I think it might say Pagani there. Let me try to zoom in further. No, that's as far as my camera would go. I do believe that's that little oval logo, and it says Pagani in there. What do you guys think? I mean, that's really small text. You can see how disgusting my thumb looks, right? So, but look at the paint as well. It's really nicely laid on. This little red and white stripe. And then what's going on in here? Alright, that's just blanked off casting, but it's painted black, so that's nice. Same with this vent. It's painted black, and then these are color accents on the car. So that's pretty cool. The mirrors are rigid plastic, so if you drop this, you're gonna buy a new model. So this does have a real reflector, it looks like, in the mirror. Hold on, there we go. See, you can see the reflection of the pic, so that's as good as it can get. It's really tiny, right? Some sad soul actually had to put that mirror in there. So thank you, whoever that was. Okay, so we get the taillights. They seem to be painted red first and then silver after. So there's like a ring of red and then silver. Let me go in a little further. Alright, so I think you can see it now. And then again, you got this silver foil, Huayra Roadster BC. This one's Tampo printed, Roadster BC on the plate, and then we got the Pagani printed there. The exhausts. Now I noticed this on my other LCD. I think they have a bad mold or something. Like it's a weird choice. You can see this one exhaust tip I'm touching is further out than this one, and this is further out than that one, and this is further out than, well, this is further out. So like this is the most sticking out the furthest. But that's just weird, you know. On the real car, they're going to all be the same surface, comparing to the photos of the real car. So it's just a bad mold. It's not a quality control problem. It's just a poor design, whoever made the mold for this piece. Okay. Yeah, you got this carbon texture here. I don't know. I suspect it feels smooth, so I think that might be the decal. I don't think it's molded into the plastic. Okay, so you'll see that stripe actually runs under the wing, and that must be like a third brake light maybe inside the carbon wing. This also feels smooth, so this must be a decal. Okay, so down here though, this I can feel the ridges. So this is cast, you know, these ridges are cast into this base plate. It is plastic base. I suspect this is metal, the body. It feels a little cool to the touch. It's screwed together, so if you want to modify something or repair something, it'll be a little easier. These are really nice treads, super nice. This thing doesn't really want to roll. Right? Nice looking models, super nice looking models like this, they very often, they don't roll. They just have, you know, the tires are either rubbing the fenders, or maybe just the manufacturers don't care. Their goal is to make something that looks nice, not go down a Hot Wheels track. Okay, so yeah, those are great treads. These are pretty thin veins here on the diffuser, so that looks good too. Looking at the wing here, yeah, it's quite nice. I mean, the struts aren't super wide plastic, they're relatively thin. The wing itself has the curvature of a wing. On the front, on the top I mean, it's flat and then kinks up. On the bottom it looks like it's curved, like an airfoil, so that's pretty good. Okay, so yeah, I'm just looking at the stripe here, and that's nice. Okay, and then the struts here are painted nice as well. I mean, it's painted red, white, and then it was originally black. It's got a carbon graphic. Hopefully you can see that. I'll go in again. So the carbon fiber that this company, LCD, does is the best I've seen, I think, on 164. It actually looks like real carbon fiber that was gloss coated. It looks like wet carbon fiber. So I don't know how they do it. I don't know if this thing is wrapped in a decal and then they clear coated it, or that's the only thing I can imagine that they did, because a regular decal would have the wrinkliness, but this doesn't have any of that wrinkliness. It feels smooth. It feels just as smooth as this. So that's just here again, it's super smooth, but you can see the carbon texture below the clear coat. So this is another model by LCD. It's just astounding. Astounding indeed. I mean, boy, I'm gonna do a brand roundup one of these days, and this might be the best brand out there. It's just crazy. Alright, so I gotta move on. Let's move on here. Actually, before the top, let's see if there's any defects on this side. You can't see this from the packaging. Not that I could see it anyways. I ordered it through online. Okay, so yeah, looking at that. Little bump for the mechanism. Open the door, I guess. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the fuel filler. Not sure. Going to the front here. So there's a texture in these grills. And then look again. I mean, this carbon fiber on these tiny verticals. And then it actually wraps around. And yet it feels smooth like real clear coated carbon fiber. It's just fantastic. You'll find that if you watch my reviews, I'm usually pretty negative, but this is just awesome. I'm trying to use more different adjectives. This is a great model. I suppose there's a contaminant right there. Yeah, there's definitely a bump. It's not over here, right? So that's the one flaw I've seen so far. Looking at these headlights, they're super small. They have a little depression for, I don't know if there's an LED or something in there. I don't know if they're carbon or not. Maybe they're just black. But they have some silver paint as well, so it's pretty good. We got some black here for the vents above the wheel wells. Alright, and the mirrors are going into those. That's another foil sticker. It's not very legible, but I mean, could it be legible? Look at this. This is my dental pick. The pick of this thing goes between your teeth, so I'm not sure if you can ask for legibility there. Not on this kind of model. Maybe on a 1/400 scale airplane you could, but not on this. Okay, so I'm okay with that. But again, look at this carbon fiber. It's just brilliant. These vents don't go any further though. They're just blanked off there. There is a raised physical 3-dimensional wiper blade. It must be a separate piece. Yeah. The windows are molded. Okay. There's some details there. I'm not sure what those are. And then look at this stripe here on the roof. Again, this roof is so smooth. Look at the reflection of my pick. Right? It's so clear. I have a ruler. Right? It's a clear edge. Look at the edge of the ruler. It's relatively straight. It's not wavy like an orange peeled paint job. So, just brilliant. Brilliant work. Okay, back here, some engine details. Not sure if that's... What is that silver? oval, I'm wondering if that's like a Pagani logo or not. Let's see if I can zoom in again. I usually don't zoom in on a model this often, but there's just a lot of stuff going on here. I don't know, some sort of flux capacitor or something like that. I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you. Okay. Alright, so the dashboard, clearly there's some textures there. Gauges, the cluster here floating, and then we got the seats. That's the challenge, trying to get a look at these seats, because the windows are a little bit distorted. Right, if I try to look through both panes of glass here, let's see if the pic is pretty distorted. Right, that's not the greatest, but that's a molded window for you. Alright, so let me get the flashlight, maybe that'll help us out. So clearly you got two-tone seats. They look like they're orange and black. I do believe that's a seatbelt buckle right there. Yeah, so I learned online that you notice there's a center channel going down the seats, and that's to help reduce weight. I also imagine it just lets your back breathe as well. I very often don't know why like car seats aren't more perforated like office chairs, like an air-on office chair. But when you just have a solid slab of leather or fake leather, your back gets all clammy and stuff like that. Okay, so the seats are pretty nice, right? I mean, they got the seatbelt buckles there. The center console there, the center rest, and the shifter. Yeah, the shifter looks more bulbous at the top. It's not just one straight thickness, so that's nice. Oh, there's a rear view mirror you can see here hanging, so that's nice. Now the super challenge is trying to see if there's an instrument gauges, and I think there are. So let me try to hold this flashlight and the car, and now I take my other hand, try to zoom in and hit the focus. The distortion from the glass. I kind of feel like I can see a gauge, like there's a needle right there. I almost feel like there's something blue there in that instrument cluster now. So anyways, I apologize if I can't do a better job, but I'm pretty sure there's an instruments in that cluster. There's just too many colors going on. Right, okay, so now I'm noticing here back right here above the flux capacitor, or whatever that thing is in the engine bay, it's got some funky windows. There's a center window, but then you got these two tiny windows here. So that's interesting. I don't know why Pagani would do that. Why wouldn't they just have one window of that shape? Odd. Very odd. Okay. In summary, if you like Paganis, you need to get this model. There's only two flaws I can really see. One is a production flaw, this little bump, some sort of contaminant. The other is a design flaw, where these exhaust tips aren't actually all in the same plane. But and they don't look really square. It seems like it was the case on my other LCD Paganis, which I'll pull out in a second. But other than that, I mean, I don't know of any other brand that's doing carbon fiber this good. From this distance, it just looks like a black car, at least through the camera that I'm seeing here. Maybe on YouTube it'll show up bigger, right? But when I look at my camera screen, it just looks like a black car. But once I start zooming in, I am seeing some serious carbon fiber weave, and it genuinely looks like a carbon fiber car. It's just bewildering. The quality is so good on this. Okay, so anyhow, yeah, let's compare it to some other stuff. And also, actually, I'm not sure if I recall, did I do this? Yeah, I think I did, so I apologize if I'm doing it again, but it's good. I'm not sure really why LCD, I'm not sure if they have another color variation of this. Or maybe they do. Logically they would have this color, this is a real car. But I chose this orange because I just like crazy colors. You know, I have enough cars in my model collection that are just normal colors that I tend to gravitate towards the crazy paint jobs just to stand out from my other models. Okay, so let's bring back the Granny, which is a totally, I think, unfair comparison. I'm guessing the Granny cost less than $10 at 7-Eleven when it was new. Maybe it was like $6, maybe it was $7. This is obviously a lot more if you look it up online, the price of the thing. But oddly, it's actually quite a different molding as well. Like, this is looking like a Roadster. I'm now thinking the roof comes off of this. Yep. Yeah, because the back end of this is definitely a coupe, right? But this is the Roadster. So let's go back. Sorry. All that flashlight work was for nothing, because we can just look now. Wow. Alright, so this is just crazy. That's a reflective rear view mirror. Let me get the pic in there. Right. So this is the nicest rear view mirror I've seen in 1/64 scale, because it actually has a reflective sticker. So that's pretty cool. Look at the central nav/computer system. There's some sort of graphic printed on there. It's interesting, the shifter is actually in the first gear, assuming that's a normal gear pattern. It's not, you know, just sticking up straight. So pretty neat. This carbon fiber here in the center, back. I can get my pick here. This looks like a carbon fiber pattern here. The seats are just black. Yeah, those seatbelt buckles, like there's a little red there, right? Look at the floor. The floor has these chevron ribbing there, looking like carbon fiber again, which I believe is true to the real car. You know, to save weight, making this a more of a racy version, they have just carbon fiber floor panels. Now that instrument gauge, yeah, it's there. I am zoomed in as far as I can go. I'm using a mobile phone here, so it's not a professional camera I'm using, it's just a cell phone. But yeah, there's a gauge there, so that's pretty nice. Okay. The doors here, the armrests, door pulls. It's all, you know, quite colorful, right? This LCD actually has all these different colors going on the surfaces, so yeah, very nice. But I'm wondering, I don't know what these are, and there's these round things back here. I don't know if they're like speakers or what. Oh, on the top of the seat there's a printing. It says BC in script. I didn't notice that before. So that's a little extra detail work, right? Oh, and also here, right here in the middle, let's see if I can focus, but it says Pagani. Maybe that's too close for the camera. But yeah, there's the logo, right? So even more detail work. Okay, so it was so close to perfect. That one little imperfection there, the design flaw there. But this is it's just such a good model. Alright, so now let's go back to the comparison here. So let's face it, the Granny, you know, if you can afford this, get this. Don't even waste your money on that thing. The inflated prices on eBay. I mean, this thing doesn't even have seats. The quality control, my other Grannies have like chunks missing out of the wheels. So it's the QC from Granny & Partners is really hit or miss. I mean, I'll still probably buy some, but I don't expect them to be perfect. This I don't expect to be perfect, but it is pretty darn close. Okay, so let's get rid of this guy. And I'll pull out the other LCD models I have. Sorry, you two are going to have to go on break. So here's the other Roadster I have. This is the regular Huayra Roadster. And you'll see, you know, the back ends here. Yeah, they have these little two bulges, right? But let me pull this back up here. These exhausts again. They're just weird. This like is torqued. You know, the whole exhaust array is twisted in a clockwise fashion. So that's a little weird. And also the lip of this very top exhaust is sticking out further than that one. So it's just something wrong with the mold. Okay, but still, it's a great model. LCD is doing some great work. I have this white coupe, but I don't know, I can't recall if this is made by LCD. I don't think it is, because there's no branding on the bottom, whereas, you know, this one says LCD, right? So these two are LCDs for sure. This is a nebulous maker, not sure. It doesn't even have treads, it's just slicks, right? So it's just generic. It's still a great model. I would recommend buying this as well. It just doesn't have a brand to it. Okay, so, and this is again an unfair comparison to Mini GT. It's a different price range. Mini GT makes great models for the price, but they're definitely, you know, they're not the best models out there, but they're pretty good, and I definitely will collect more of them. I'm a big fan of what they do. I love the rubbery mirrors. I just love that about the brand. But you know, it's just the details are not quite to that level. In particular, like the carbon fiber here isn't carbon fiber, it's just a metallic, it's like a metallic color. But this one literally looks like real carbon fiber, right? Alright, so anyways, that's not a fair comparison. So, again, LCD, you guys are it. I used to say Inno64 was my favorite brand. They have more offerings in Inno64. LCD doesn't make many models. I'm gonna order some of their SUVs, but I'm gonna guess LCD has less than 10 models in production, or has produced less than 10 models, whereas Inno64 has dozens of models. So, but technically, LCD is the best brand going until you get into resin models. A resin model, they usually cost more, and they don't have large extensive lineups of vehicles. You know, they're just random brands. I don't know, there's some factory, I guess, just making resin models, and then other companies subcontract out and say, hey, put my brand name on them. So like SCM, DMH, there's some of those brands that are making these or selling these things, but I'm not sure if they're making the models. But yeah, this is great again. So sorry I sound like a repeating record, but it's very rare to have such a nice model. It really is. So this is just a highlight, I guess, of me collecting now for like 6-7 months now. So LCD model, guys, look it up online. I'm sure they're sold everywhere. So give it a shot. Alright, see you guys in the next hypercar review.